everyone. Sorry for the short delay there, but it's been a while since I streamed. Been going through a heat wave where I am, so at risk of not shorting out my computer and everything else, I just haven't been streaming, been at the computer at all. Doesn't mean I'm not been keeping up on things. I still have a phone and whatnot, so that's all good. However, I come back to you guys not in like the best of spirits, we'll say. So, as you can see on your screen, which we will get rid of that header, good old Boogie. Is it good? Is he good? No, not really. Especially considering the information that we currently have on this dubious individual. I originally had the idea that I was going to do a video, and the video that I was going to do was essentially going to be an AI voice video where I would talk about Boogie, and I would talk about a little bit of history that I have of Boogie, not like interacting with him or anything like that, but just basically my personal history of seeing his videos and seeing him on platforms like YouTube and Twitter and all that. But I decided not to do that. That entire idea has been just thrown to the side. I've kept the screenshots that I had from it, but other than that, everything else is just basically gone. And the reason for that is quite simple. I felt that it would be a little impersonal to talk about this particular person while doing AI voices. Now, that's not to say that I don't like the AI voices. I absolutely love doing them. I think they're fun and interesting, and it's definitely a good outlet for anybody out there who likes to do creativity and stuff like that. But other than that, I just could not bear to talk about this in any other way than to just go full bore and just talk about them with my own personal voice. So here we are. So Boogie, as of recently, like just was on the Local Live podcast, and that's exactly what this whole thing is about here. Where I don't know why it's freezing up like that. Oh well, I'm not gonna worry about it right now. It's fine. Anyways, so he was on the Local Live podcast 2 or 3 days ago, and he was confronted about this whole cancer diagnosis that he had back in 2022 now. Needless to say, Boogie was quote-unquote diagnosed with with what he was calling it's like polycythemia vera, or PV for short. Polycythemia vera, which I will bring up the picture that I totally have right here. Yeah, I do. So I'll bring up the definition for everybody who's curious. Let's rearrange this so that way it can be read, por favor. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Here, there we go. And I'll be bringing up my pretty little avatar in just a second. But anyways, so good old Boogie says that he has polycythemia vera, which is just essentially a type of blood cancer. And with that being a type of blood cancer, it's essentially supposed to kill you very, 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 very slowly. There's my wonderful clown picture that I hope didn't spook everybody. Anyways. But polycythemia vera has a longevity of about 20 years. That's how long it's supposed to take for you to experience any sort of complications. And most of those complications that you experience are going to be within of course, your bloodstream. You're going to get things like clots. I would assume that you wouldn't be able to heal from like lacerations and stuff like that very easily. I'm assuming blood clots and having open wounds and stuff like that's going to be definitely a very bad thing. Now, that's not to say that it wouldn't cause other problems, because seeing as it would be a blood cancer, anything that has to do with anything in the blood is going to cause an issue. And especially since thickened blood does massive problems on the organs, because your organs actually function better or worse depending on the blood flow with the red blood cells going in and out of those organs. You would experience a lot of issues, I can only imagine. Now, that in and of itself would be more or less fine if it were true. The problem is that it's not true. Now, what I'm going to do in this particular instance is I am going to pull up the video, which I already have, and I am going to kind of go through his claims one by one, and we're going to, I know it's kind of maybe a cringy thing nowadays, but I'm going to kind of psychoanalyze Boogie's shtick for a little bit. And now that's not to say that, I'm just doing it for it's not just to say I'm just doing it to do it because I have no other reason or point, or I'm trying to be what they call an armchair psychologist. I actually do have a little bit of experience in psychology. I have studied psychology well over a decade. And because of that, being able to psychoanalyze someone like Boogie shouldn't be too difficult. As a matter of fact, it should be fairly fucking easy. Because Boogie is such a manipulative, lying shithead, it's going to probably take a little while to do. I'm probably not going to go through the full hour video. I'm mainly just going to be focusing on Boogie in and of itself. But there's a few things that I really, really want to point out as we go through. And watch Boogie's little thing. Now, the first thing I want to call attention to, like I had brought it before, is I do have a little bit of history with Boogie as far as his content is concerned. And there was one very peculiar thing that I had noticed about Boogie that immediately kind of turned me away from his content. And it kind of comes down to a particular quote that he said. I'm gonna make sure this is adjusted so it can be heard fairly well. I'm hoping it doesn't like blow out eardrums, but we will see. Shrink this down so it's not taking up the entirety of the thing. Alright. What you mean something already hit? Oh. Yeah, that's fine. Sure it does, but get away from there. Alright, try again. Good old window capture, video, and what? Okay. Boop. Oh dear. Oh dearest, dear me. See if I can fix this. I may just have to use it as a normal, because I can actually, yeah, I can pause it and whatnot. Let's just switch through these real quick, see if any of them changes. And they don't. Okay, that's perfectly fine. We're gonna just shoot this from the hip, and we're gonna make it work. So instead, we'll do this. Shut the hell up, man. Video. And then boop. Cool. Yeah, I can actually pause it and everything from here. Awesome. Alright, so back in, what was it, 2014, we'll be kind of just referring to the notes that I have. Back in 2014, this guy made a video called Draw My Life. And back in 2014, for anyone that's not as old as I am, there was a whole thing about doing the whole Draw My Life video. Essentially, you take a whiteboard, you talk about your life, and as you talk about your life, you kind of draw pictures and whatnot that kind of go with the aesthetic of the story that you're telling. And of course, Boogie, being the eternal victim, told us essentially his entire life story. Everything from his mom being abusive, to his dad also being sexually abusive, to all the sadness that goes on around his life. Apparently he had like a leg disorder or something wrong with his legs that made them heavier or weaker than normal, and he couldn't do anything because of it, and blah 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 blah. A whole bunch of shenanigans essentially. And hearing this particular video resonated something for me that I'm sure that others probably didn't resonate with them at the time. And you know what? That's fine. Everybody probably reacted to that video differently. I know a lot of people, especially in the comments of the video, was sympathetic to him. Oh my God, that's a bad life and all that. You know, they were thankful he got through it. And it's all kinds of ball washing as far as emotions are concerned. And as I said, that's perfectly fine. Most people could have felt that way. I felt a different way about it. Was it a sad story? Absolutely. Like, it was a very sad story. And I looked at it not as the fact that it was a sad story, but more along the lines of how much of this story is actually true. Now, I know that may be a bad thing for some people. Why would you think there are so many bad things about it? Why would you think that he would lie about so many things? It's for me, that's actually pretty clear and obvious why he would lie about it. He needed to. But that's because Boogie is the eternal victim. He always has been. Ever since the beginning of his channel, that's the way it's been. He's the eternal victim. But, other than that, other than the feelings that I had about that particular video, I kind of cast them aside for the time being. Although I did kind of keep them in the back of the mind, though. And I didn't really watch his content that much. I kind of poked in on and off, but that was basically it. Then we move to the last that has been going on with good old Boogster here, good old Boogeyman. And that is, let me see if I can get, oh yeah, that does work, yay, all the way at the bottom, sir. And, whoop. B. No, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Beep. Cool. Alright, that's fine for right now. Anyways, like I said, just doing this. Oh, better. Alright, so just doing this on the fly. Anyways, so, like I said, I kept that in the back of my mind, moving on to recent events. So, or not, actually, no, not entirely recent events. I'll move on to the second piece of it, which is this video that I have loaded up right here that I will play for you in a minute. Now, whenever I said that I felt different about that Draw My Life video, for me, it didn't come without, reason. There was a reason why I felt a certain way about that video, and I still do to this day, and it was a rightfully so good way to feel about it. Boogie had a live stream, or was on a live stream, and this is back on the someone that people of new internet might know of. I no longer watch this person and never will, because they've gone so far off the deep end and just out of things that there's just no point. So, back whenever the kill stream, the Ralph Retort, as it were, it was a good actual podcast, live show, whatever you want to call it, to watch, Boogie appeared on it before, and he appeared on it with, as you can see, kind of listed there. Thank you, Metacrist archiver for this. He appeared with Joshua Moon, who everybody knows is the runner of Kiwi Farms, and with V and Memology. Keemstar was on there as well, and of course Jim himself, Medicare, appeared on it. And Medicare has also done a follow-up stream about Boogie, which I would recommend everybody go and watch. I myself have not seen it just yet, but knowing that it's Medicare and knowing who Medicare is, it's damn good, so I'm not too worried about that. Anyways, I'm going to play this clip, and this is what Boogie said, and it kind of caught me on to exactly what kind of person Boogie is, was, and forever will be.
On Twitch. Twitch to me is a completely different performance. But the truth of the matter is his YouTuber performance, yes, is
oh no, is it not playing audio? Like, I can't hear it on my end. It might be playing through. Oh, it is coming through. Nice. Alright, so I'm going to restart it, but it will play through. I guess I just won't hear it. But that's fine.
On on Twitch. Twitch to me is a completely different performance. But the truth of the matter is YouTube a performance? Yes. Is Twitch a performance? Yes. Is this a performance? Yes. All of this is aspects of who I actually am. If you ever met who I actually am, you'd be bored to fucking tears. I sat in front of the couch. I play fucking Magic the Gathering. I sat there and stare at shit. I'm super sad and I'm super depressed and I didn't do anything. Everything I do.
So, what he says there is what made me, from that point on, know what kind of person that Boogie is. And everything about him is a performance, as he calls it. It's all a performance. It's all a different part of his character, as it were. Blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that. As a matter of fact, that in and of itself made me know exactly what kind of person Boogie is. He is a lying, manipulative asshole. And that's basically where that begins and ends. Now, because I now know that I won't be able to play that video through the actual video thing and hear it, we will just play through the video on actual YouTube here, and I'll make sure that way we can make sure I can hear it and pause it whenever I need to. Unless they don't have it up anymore, that would be some shit, wouldn't it? Well, there's an archive. It's an hour and 12 minutes. I think, oh no, hey, there it is. Sweet, sweet. So I can just go through the hour and 2 minutes instead of the fucking full 4 hours, which, yeah, that particular podcast is 4 hours long, by the way. They have really cut it down to where it's only 1 hour, and I think that's just because they wanted to keep it up with, I think that's just because they wanted to keep it to the parts that, you know, people care about. Which, of course, is Boogie and his dumbassery. But, you know, hey, what can you do? Alright, so we are now going to get rid of that. Bring up a new window capture. We'll just call it YouTube. And there we go. Right there it is. Put this right in the center of the wonderful vortex, as it is the center of our attention right now. And just for the sake of people like me who have some sort of ADD, ADHD, whatever the fuck, out the wazoo, I will I'll keep something going on in the corners so that way everybody's got something and something to help them. And I'm going to also, just because I want to, put up a little thing here. Doop. I'll rush down here and label myself. It is me, the Khan. I am here and I am speaking to you live and in person. Ba-doop. There we go. And I can change that whenever I like. As you can see, I do watch some wrestling shit, apparently. You know, I don't mind if people know I watch wrestling stuff. That's perfectly okay to me. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Don't even. Don't you even. No, it's going to. Oh, there we go. Yay, I fixed it. No, I didn't. Oh well. Well, we'll get it going, guys. Like I said, this is on the fly stuff, and I'm so sorry.
Zoomers who don't even have money to donate need that high energy fake bullshit.
I'm gonna quit.
So yeah, it's basically how it starts out, and they're kind of recapping. Apparently, the last episode, Wings and Keemstar were like threatening to leave the show or whatever, and Boogie and Tommy were trying to get them to stay or something like that. I just know it was like a whole fake drama controversy. None of them were actually trying to leave. You will find out very quickly that that's apparently quote unquote not the case with Boogie here, as he's threatening to leave the show. I'm getting the fuck out of here, everyone. Yeah, right. Whatever. I don't believe that as far as I can fucking throw him, and unfortunately, he's still over 400 pounds, and nobody without the strength of either heavy machinery or the Hulk is going to be tossing his fucking ass anywhere, so what can you do? Alright, so we'll go ahead and get this rolling, and I'll pause it as I need to. I am going to probably skip around, though, because like I said, the very first of this is not very important at all. It's mainly just Keemstar yelling at the co-hosts, which I don't watch the Locale podcast that often, but the times that I have, that's basically a very normal thing. So here we go.
How you guys doing tonight? What's going on?
Yeah, how's it going? We can see you. You guys look fantastic.
What kind of guest is this?
Turn it on.
Like I said, I'm also going to be doing a little bit of psychoanalysis of Boogie, so I will be pointing out the Boogster, the Boogeyman, the Boog Bro, pretty often. And you will find out very quickly why that is. Because this dude, like I said, is beyond a reprehensible piece of shit at this point. He really, really is. It's just beyond anything anybody should fucking watch or care about whenever it comes to Boogie. But this is, as you can hear, Destiny has appeared on there, is now popping into their show. And this is where my psychoanalysis of this pudgy turd begins.
I mean, some of you.
Don't be so friendly.
Oh, there you
Hey,
go.
oh my God, we're on.
Not X.
We don't need him. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want, and it's gonna be.
See, right now, as you can see looking at Boogeyman's turd of a face here, he is very calm, he's very collected, because the only thing that's happened up to this point is that he has had a quote-unquote fight with Keemstar about getting paid. And apparently he was telling, I think it was CoffeeZilla and a couple of other people that he wasn't getting paid, basically lying on his quote-unquote internet boss. And, well, as we all know, you just can't do that shit, so, yeah. We continue on.
Be like, we said it.
All right. Are we good to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
You're good.
Okay. Boogie, 2488, you are being confronted tonight.
Go
I
ahead.
am 99% sure that you are faking.
No, don't move.
You are faking your cancer diagnosis, Boogie.
Okay, let's hear that.
Let's hear that.
Did the
Okay, immediately, what I had noticed about him saying that, oh, you're being confronted tonight, I think I'm 95% sure that you are faking your cancer diagnosis. As you can see, Boogie's head is now tilted. He's got the blinking eyes. He's blinking kind of rapidly. You can't see this right now, of course, because it's a still image. But just a moment ago, he was blinking rather rapidly, and his eyes did something very peculiar. They narrowed, and now they're slightly widened. I know his the chubbiness of his face kind of throws it off, but his eyes are widened slightly right now. And that's because that is an indicator of fear. He's afraid of what Destiny is about to say. Come on.
doctor ever tell you, or did he ever say the word cancer?
He said polycythemia vera, which is a form of cancer, as he explained it to me. And no, it is not secondary polycythemia, which is Nicholas Diorio's explanation for this bullshit.
So I think it is secondary polycythemia.
Well, then
Can you
why would he
explain?
call it? Why would he call it polycythemia vera? Why would he tell me that I have hormone markers in my blood that tells me I have polycythemia vera? Why does he order a bone marrow biopsy to confirm it?
Okay, two things. First and foremost, one of the primary responses for fear is to immediately get angry. And as you can no doubt hear and tell, Boogie is very angry right now. He's very flustered. That also goes with his blinking eyes. He's very angry, he's very flustered, he doesn't like what he's hearing, etc., etc. For, well, good reason. He's being told that he's a fucking liar, which... Not to be too much on any sort of thing there, but it's true. He is a damned liar whenever it comes to this particular thing. He lied about having I personally think and believe that he lied about having cancer. So sorry, it is what it is. Sorry, I'm editing. I'm editing the live thing so that way it's a little bit more accurate to what we're talking about, because we are talking about Boogie's cancer. I was just saying recent things because there's like one or two other things I really want to just kind of semi-touch on and then move on before we end the stream. But we're already 36 minutes in, so we'll see how long we go. It's just going to last as long as it lasts, but I'm hoping to be done with this before like an hour and a half if possible. But we will see. And I'm just going to save that for now. I can bring up those other links later. It's not really too big of a deal right now. That, and I can always get them from my Nightbot too. So, yeah, we are moving right along. So, yeah, that is definitely one thing that is an indicator of fear, is that he jumped straight to anger. He got really mad. He's already elevating his voice. He's already practically screaming at Destiny. And one thing that I'll give to Destiny over here, I don't really care too much for him. However, Destiny does have a particular gift, and that's whenever he's determined, it's very, very hard to fight back against him for very good reason. He talks very fast, and he has all of his points essentially lined up in a row, and he's like at a carnival game where you have to shoot the ducks, and he's got a machine gun, and he can just knock them all down really quick. Boogie is not anywhere near set up to fight back against that determination with his fearful anger response.
Well, if he ordered a bone marrow biopsy to confirm it, it would be weird that you told us that you already had a diagnosis and a confirmation.
Because the markers are in my blood. The hormone markers are in my blood, Destiny.
Correct. But you said that you'd received the diagnosis, but now you just told me you got a bone marrow biopsy.
It's a diagnosis, and now we're confirming. It's called a confirmation. The hormone markers are already in my blood.
Yep.
And
so I think
we are confirming it with the biopsy because I'm wanting to do that, because I'm praying to God I don't have cancer.
He doesn't care if you're
praying to God that you don't have cancer whenever you're practically already saying that you have cancer, and you've been saying that you've had cancer for 2 years. And here shortly he's also going to say that they've been treating the cancer for 2 years. Why would you treat something that you don't even know that you have? They don't have confirmation that he has cancer. Why treat the cancer? Oh, well, we think you might very well have lung cancer. We're going to immediately throw you into radiation and chemo. Aren't you going to confirm that first? No, we think it's there. There's a marker there that says that it's there, so we're just going to go ahead and start treating it. Well, what happens if you treat it and I don't have it? Well, probably death, but we're not going to worry about that. Yeah, right.
to God, I'm taking the 1 in a million fucking chance that they're fucking wrong, and that there's another reason that I have the hormone imbalances in my blood.
Yeah. Why are you praying to God 2 years after you said that you have cancer that you don't have cancer?
Exactly.
Because 2 years ago, they told me I have polycythemia vera based on the fact that I had increased red blood cell counts, increased hemoglobin.
I hate to do this. I don't know what the fuck Wings is doing. It's just goofy to see him standing up and acting like a hype man who doesn't know which side to root for. Sorry.
And the hormone markers in my blood, and it all spelled pretty definitively that I have this. And so he wanted to get a bone marrow biopsy, but it is intrusive and expensive, so they decided to forego it. I would like to still get it done because I am hopeful, I am praying that there's a fucking merciful God of the world that would be willing to fucking let this be wrong.
But okay, so the bone marrow biopsy is expensive and invasive, and they wanted to forego it, even though it would confirm 100% that you have cancer. Something do not add up, I can tell. I can tell.
Even though it most certainly is not.
So why are you talking about expensive cancer treatments if they don't even know if you have cancer? That nothing
Because
has been
they're treating it, dipshit. Because they've been treating it for 2 fucking years.
How are they treating it, Boogie?
Blood test, blood thinners, bloodletting, medications. They're trying to get my weight down. I'm seeing the doctor every 3 fucking months. I'm doing blood tests every fucking month. We're doing
So they don't know if
what
you
do
have
you wanna
cancer
know?
or not. So can I understand
You want
this?
to hold my fucking hand?
Can I, yeah,
Sure, so I mean, I can explain. So I can explain everything, right?
All right.
So Boogie
Go
has a
ahead.
condition called polycythemia, which means there's an elevation.
Polycythemia vera.
Let him talk, you fat. I want to hear the guy that actually knows something.
Polycythemia vera.
Destiny, go ahead.
He knows more about my fucking
Yes,
medical
yes,
diagnosis than
I
do.
guarantee. Well,
So go right the fuck ahead. I was in the fucking room. My girlfriend was in the fucking room when they told me.
You
Go
are
right the fucking ahead,
filibustering.
Destiny. Go right the
You
fuck
are
ahead.
filibustering.
Yeah, I was in the room. My girlfriend was in the room. We know more than what he does. Okay, sure. What the fuck was she doing in the room, though? She's not here. She's not here to help you with this, so what is the point of bringing her up? Just because what? That would bring some sort of credibility to your claim, just saying that your girlfriend was there? I'm sorry, but she's not going to be a credible witness either way. She's already going to say that you're right, even if you're wrong, which we're going to get into her. We're going to get into her a little bit later too, which is a completely different thing. But whatever. Moving on.
Be nice. Be nice.
Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead. Okay, so I think that Boogie was told that he has polycythemia, which means he has an elevation of his red blood cells. Now, there is a cancer known as polycythemia vera, which is caused by a mutation in some part of your body that causes an elevation of 3 different levels of things you'll find. One of those is the red blood cell count. However, when Boogie was talking about the polycythemia, he mentioned a couple things that I thought were interesting. The first was that taking an exogenous hormone, TRT, testosterone, that caused an increase in him developing this condition. So taking testosterone will not cause you to develop a cancer. That doesn't, not for this particular cancer, it won't. It will cause you to develop secondary polycythemia. The second thing that he mentioned was that his doctor ordered a sleep study. That's because one of the things that can cause your body to produce more red blood cells is if you have hypoxemia, which is a lower count of, or a low amount of oxygen in your blood for an extended period of time. And the reason why he ordered that sleep study is probably because Boogie either has pulmonary obstructive something, or he has, as he mentioned, sleep apnea. And sleep apnea, which is a decrease in oxygen overnight, can lead to a decrease in oxygen in your blood, which can lead to an increase in the production of red blood cells. All of the things that Boogie described, both the things that cause this and the treatments for it, are consistent with secondary polycythemia.
Yes.
None of these are consistent with cancer, and the fact that he's saying
And-
that they've now
and
ordered a
Destiny-
biopsy 2
Look,
years
may I-
after. Wait, 2
Destiny,
years
may I,
after.
now,
Wait,
may I,
let me
may,
finish real quick.
may I review?
Okay,
May I
okay,
review
let me
the
finish real
point you
quick.
just made?
He's not done.
Okay.
He's not
Go
done.
ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
2 years ago, you said that you had a cancer diagnosis, but now
I
you
did.
just said now they're doing a biopsy to check for cancer.
Confirmation,
Is this
Destiny.
house MD? Are we
Confirmation.
treating a blood cancer without actually confirming it yet? For 2 years, you've been having a cancer treatment without confirming there's actually cancer there?
Because it was in my blood markers, and that's pretty goddamn definitive. You can Google that, Destiny. When you have the hormones, when you have the hormone in the blood that is produced by this cancer, it's pretty goddamn definitive. It doesn't show up for just the sakes of it.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
Boogie, you want to keep saying you're the patient. You know what you have.
All right, so far, here is what we can see. Destiny, like I said, he gets very determined. He knows exactly what he's doing, and this is one thing that, despite me not really liking Destiny all that much, this is one thing that I admire about him, is that whenever he knows what he's talking about, or at least has a target in the crosshairs, he knows what to go for. He knows where the jab is. He knows to stick to the point and get there, right? He doesn't really bother to look over at Boogie all that much. He's only looking over at him every now and again just to kind of, I guess, to confirm that he's still there. Or maybe it's just out of habit to look over because this is their stream setup and whatnot. Also, Boogie, like I said, is continuing to get flustered, continuing to get angry, and he is showing so many different symptoms and signs right now. Nothing of any sort of medical condition that's going on, mind you, but just he is showing how fearful that he is. He's rapidly trying to keep up with Destiny, which is something that I'm sorry Boogie just can't do. And he is shouting, he is trying to overtalk people. He is showing that he is just vehemently angry. Now, a lot of people that would be, that if they're on Boogie's side, which I don't know why you would be at this point, but let's pretend that there's somebody talking to me right now and they're like, hey, I'm on Boogie's side. He's angry and everything because these people are questioning his medical diagnosis, which he was there for. He's been through it. He's been living with it for 2 years. Why would you even dare to question the anger and everything that's going on with him right now? Well, the reason why I'm questioning it is because the anger that he is showing and producing right now is not out of anger of, oh, you shouldn't be questioning me. It's quite literally just, he's angry because he knows that he's caught. He knows what's going on here. He knows that this house of cards that he's built, that he is labeled PV, polycythemia vera, is coming down really quick, and it's going to come down on top of his head. Now, Jordy, good old Wings here, actually makes a very good point.
Your body has.
Yes.
When I go to the doctor, they give me like this, which is like papers that will tell me.
And I was going to say, Boogie can have this whole thing. Tell me a single document with polycythemia vera on it. You don't have one. I don't think the doctor ever diagnosed you with it.
Can I ask you something, Destiny? Is it possible that when the doctor was seeing him, they were asking, you could have polycythemia, if I'm saying it correctly, or polycythemia vera, but you don't have the cancer version, you have this version. Is that possible? I'm asking him. Is it? It could be like a loss of translation type situation.
Yeah. So polycythemia just means you have an elevation of red blood cells. That's all it means. Your red blood cell count is high.
So you could just be fat and sleep apnea can create that, because I'm both.
Sleep apnea could do it. Yeah. Anything. Sorry. Yeah. Like that could cause it. And the fact that Boogie said, we knew that when I was taking TRT, this was a risk of that. That means that risk is to develop secondary polycythemia. That was the risk, and then that is what ended up happening, unfortunately. But it's not cancer. That was induced because of just a low oxygenation of the blood.
So why? Explain to me, Destiny, why there are markers, hormone markers in my blood that have tested positively for polycythemia vera. Explain that.
If there was,
look at your medical papers, dude.
I'm never showing any of these motherfuckers my medical papers. Go f yourself. I said that 2 years ago, and I'm staying by it now. Destiny Jackson Clark, Keemstar, you can see it when I fucking die. It's my fucking goddamn medical record. I've given you every goddamn phone call. I've given you every fucking text. I've given it. It's never made a single goddamn thing better. I'm not gonna fucking do it. Go yourselves.
You could easily end this right now by just showing
I would rather you motherfuckers continue to LARP. I would rather you motherfuckers continue to LARP than to have the last goddamn thing. The last goddamn thing.
You're the one accused of LARPing.
Security I have in the fucking world.
You're the one being accused of LARPing.
The easy thing here is if there are blood markers that definitively confirm polycythemia vera as a blood cancer, then why are they doing a biopsy?
Because I'm insisting on it, because I'm hoping they're wrong.
No, wait. Why would you have to insist on a biopsy if you can confirm with a with blood markers?
Okay, so going back just a tiny bit, this man got really enraged whenever someone just asked, just produce something medical, just some sort of medical record, medical anything that says, hey, you have this. It shouldn't be that hard to do if you do have that particular thing. But unfortunately for this guy, he doesn't have it. That's the main reason why he gets so mad. And what you're going to see, and what many people have already commented on about this, is that that is the hill that he wants to die on, is that his medical records are his and his alone, and no one will see it until he's dead. What else is on your medical records that we should know about? Or what isn't on your medical records that we should know about? Because for me, and I do believe this is pointed out a little bit later, we will come to it when we come to it, but for me, one of two things is true. Either one, he has no cancer, and he actually has the secondary polycythemia, because, he has sleep apnea, he's heavily overweight, has been for years, and I'm assuming he has sleep apnea, which has been happening for years. There's something else that he also has pointed out to as well, which I think we've already passed it, is that he goes to the doctor every 3 months to get blood tests, to check what he's doing, to work on his weight, do bloodletting for some reason. I don't know why they're still using leeches and whatnot. That seems a little weird. But having access to blood thinners, all that. You know who else and what other kind of patients go and get checked up every 3 months and have a talk with their doctor and go through all that kind of rigmarole? Diabetics. Maybe he has diabetes. I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe cancer's not on there and diabetes is on there, or maybe he has something worse, like maybe he's HIV positive, maybe he has AIDS. Something's going on there that he doesn't want everybody else to know about. I'm not saying that it's wrong or a bad thing that if he has either. I don't know what he's done. Apparently he spent over $250,000 on hookers. Maybe one of them had AIDS or HIV. I don't know. Maybe he's got herpes. He's got something on there that he doesn't want people to see, or he's got nothing, or he doesn't have something on there, so that's why he doesn't want people to see. It's one of the two. It's a very strange hill to die on, to just post a screenshot of your patient portal or holding up some paperwork that says polycythemia vera. I don't know. Moving on.
Because I'm hoping that I are wrong. Because I'm hoping they are wrong.
You're hoping they're wrong, and why 2 years ago were you talking about fighting cancer? Why would you be talking about...
I have been for 2 years, Destiny.
Fighting cancer how? With what? With blood thinners?
Because
this one's for you, Boogie.
Because... Oh, God damn it. Because you treat polycythemia vera almost identically to the way that you treat polycythemia, because you can't attack the cancer directly. All you can do is treat the symptoms. And the symptoms are identical to polycythemia, because it's the same thing, with the exception of one's getting caused by an external source and the other's being caused by cancer. And in this case, it's getting caused by cancer.
One thing that I really like about this, and this is more of an aside than anything else, I love that this edit already has all of the F-bombs kind of blurred out, because I know that YouTube's very picky about having too many cuss words and stuff, so thank you for that. But secondly, he's been treating the cancer for 2 years, because the same disease that Destiny thinks he has is treated in the exact same way. I'm not sure that I buy that, and that's not because that I don't. It's for two reasons. One, I just don't know, and two, Boogie unfortunately is not a very reliable narrator. So honestly, we may never know on that one.
You should start.
So I do think there are different treatments available for polycythemia vera, and I think that the outcomes for that are significantly worse than just having it induced by some other thing like sleep apnea or hypoxia. But I mean, if you wanted to,
is pretty identical. The treatment plan is pretty identical.
So if there are two huge things. So one, you could show it to a private party and they could confirm, somebody like Keemstar. But two, the issue is that if you want to keep your medical issues to yourself, I think everybody is entitled to that right, obviously.
I should have never talked about it to begin with. This is one of the reasons I was going to do a GoFundMe. This is one of the reasons I was going to do a GoFundMe was because they verify, for the record. They verify. That would be the third party that I would go forward with.
Yeah, so GoFundMe does not do the best verification, as has been proven multiple times in the past. But the issue is that you say that you shouldn't have talked about it, but the fact is that you did. You did the day that you got the diagnosis. You were like, well, I was considering doing this, but I just got my diagnosis today. So you weren't doing it instantly.
I sat on it for a while.
On your tweet, did you not say that I got my diagnosis today and then talk about it?
They told me, They told me in the office that they were worried about it. Then they did the blood tests. Then, yes, I did tweet about it on the day that I got confirmation. But I sat on it for a couple of months before, or for a couple of weeks before talking about it because it took a while for us to get the blood results back.
So you sat on it when you didn't know the answer? That's not called sitting on it. That's just called waiting for an answer.
He crushed
also,
it.
if you were so keen on diagnosing whether you had cancer or not, why would you wait 2 years to get the biopsy?
Followed my Twitter before, but I tend to tweet as it happens. This one I decided to stand on for a little while.
Real-time news, motherfucker.
I don't understand why you're waiting.
Silent cancer diagnosis.
Cancer is pretty serious.
There is no cancer. It's secondary polycythemia. There is no cancer here. There's no proof of it. You can't show anybody proof of it because it's not real. And I don't know. As somebody that like his mom had cancer, it's just a little bit gross. I feel like when people are talking publicly about fighting cancer and stuff.
The person that faked cancer before, the chick. You know who I'm talking
about. Oh yeah, only had cancer once. Yeah.
I remember. That's vintage.
Emily from RuneScape.
There's so many people that don't know that meme right now.
Can I ask Boogie? Is it possible that you just jumped the gun on releasing your diagnosis thing?
No.
You don't think you jumped the gun?
Anything is possible, sure.
I just don't understand why you won't just go grab a piece of paper and just disprove them. Like you
I don't
have
have
all these feelings.
They don't have
nothing with those words on it.
And like I said a year ago, when these motherfuckers tried to get it
hold on.
This is the one last thing I left. You motherfuckers were in my marriage. You guys were in everything else. You're in every aspect of my life. Let me have one goddamn thing.
You're trying to tell me.
Let me have cancer.
I would rather Dexerto tomorrow lead Boogie lies about cancer than to hand this over to you pieces of shit. That's just.
This?
I'd rather do that. I'd rather do that. Go ahead, print it, Dexerto. Go ahead and print it.
Can you get your patient portal up on your phone and like send it
to
Tommy?
I'm not going to. Sure,
he's never doing that. He does not have a cancer diagnosis. There's 0% chance he has one. Every leading thing for this cancer diagnosis the doctor talked about has to do with secondary polycythemia. The sleep apnea was a contributor to that, and the TRT was a contributor to that.
Except for the hormone markers in my blood. Except we're convenient.
Yeah, but if you had hormone markers for it, that's either a definitive diagnosis, in which case you wouldn't be getting a biopsy 2 years later, or it wasn't definitive, and you would have gotten a biopsy 2 years later instead of saying they're treating you for cancer for 2 years. You just said before that you don't have the money for extra medical stuff. If they don't need that test to confirm cancer, why would you spend extra money on a biopsy you don't need?
Have you heard of this, Destiny? I just got a bit of a windfall. Might have heard about it.
Oh, yeah, you may have heard of it. We have.
What's a windfall?
He did a $10,000 crypto scam, using partly his cancer thing as an excuse for why he needed to scam his fans.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so this is another reason why I point out the manipulative behavior of this turd burglar that we're looking at right here. I got a bit of a windfall, if you haven't heard. Yeah, we know all about your crypto scam. Your little pump and dump crypto scam. We know all about it. To brag about it is a completely different thing. You brag about it, and you want people to sympathize with you and feel bad for you. Well, it doesn't really work that way, now does it? It really doesn't work that way. That's another reason why I knew during that other live stream where he says, oh, well, everything I do is a performance. This is a performance. Twitch is a performance. Twitter's a performance. In real life is a performance. Yeah, that's how I know that you will do anything you can to manipulate your fans, apparently. But you won't fight back against people that actually have points and actually have proof against you for your little fake diagnosis. This is the reason why I don't say it very often about anybody, but in particular, fuck this dude.
I just wanted I wanted to join real quick because you just got caught lying to about me to CoffeeZilla. All right, and now you're being confronted. And now you're being confronted on one of the biggest lies on internet history.
I don't consider it.
And you won't prove it?
No.
You won't prove it?
I'd rather you go ahead and print it.
If this is true, and you lied about cancer, this is the biggest scandal on the fucking internet.
It's not, but go ahead and print it anyway. Go ahead and print it anyway.
Okay, so I guess just to wrap up, because we don't want to take all your guys' time tonight. So just as a couple things, right? So the story as laid out, if you look up secondary polycythemia versus polycythemia vera, all of the leading things that Boogie talks about leading to his condition are consistent with secondary polycythemia, not the mutation that would cause polycythemia vera. The things that Boogie says that his doctor wants him to check for afterwards, like doing a sleep study, are consistent with secondary polycythemia, not primary polycythemia. And the fact that he says, the fact that he says that he had the blood markers or something to confirm it 2 years ago, but is now getting a biopsy for secondary confirmation, even though he says he doesn't have the money for medical bills, but I guess now that he does have money, he's going to waste all of it on biopsying things that are already confirmed, or at least confirmed enough that he wanted to talk about it publicly for 2 years ago, and then use it to fundraise the money that he now has so that he can do the biopsy. And I don't even think he's doing, by the way, I don't think he's actually doing enough.
So, Destiny, to summarize,
if you wanted to disprove it, all he has to do is show a private party this particular medical thing. And it would be
to summarize, Destiny, you're basically saying he's kind of unlucky he doesn't have cancer.
I mean, for this particular case, yeah. If Boogie can confirm, that he has polycythemia vera, and he actually has like a doctor confirmation of the blood cancer, I'll throw $5,000 towards his medical treatment. I'll make that personal pledge right now.
Hey, you need the money.
You're not seeing my medical records for 20, not for 50. You're not seeing my medical
$5
records.
grand.
I said this. I said this year ago.
Okay, so I just want people to remember in the future then, when Boogie says, I have to do XYZ scam to raise money because my medical bills are hurting so much, he can speak publicly about his medical issues to scam his fans to raise money, but he can't take $5,000 to privately confirm a diagnosis that he already publicly said he has. Doesn't make any sense, but
even I have a fucking limit. Even I have a fucking limit.
What's the limit, though?
It's a bad. My limit is
I have a limit. You know, I have a limit for what I will talk about, guys. I don't think you understand. I have a limit. Right. So your limit isn't you talking about being raped by your mom. Your limit isn't you talking about you being molested by your dad. Your limit isn't you talking about other possible sexual assaults from other members of your family. Your limit isn't talking about how bad your mom was to you in public YouTube videos and talking about how bad your dad's medical condition got to the point that your mom got even worse. None of that's bad. Like, that's not the limit. That's not the limit that you'll stop at. The limit that you stop at is your own personal medical records, which do nothing to change anything that you're saying unless what you're saying isn't true. Right. Okay. Quite a hill to die on.
I really understand that he, there's a big history of people, I guess, scamming people with cancer, and it's like the worst of the worst. Sure. And you're getting confronted with that right now, when your response to that is,
Go ahead.
I'm not going ahead. I'm just I'm actually with you.
Go right the fuck ahead. I don't.
I'm not. I'm not going ahead with
He's
anything.
he's speaking to you.
No, I'm saying run with the story. I don't care.
Why we're in this situation is just that
Why are you being so
people view this as one of the lowest things,
if
right?
you 100% believe you have polycythemia vera, why aren't you just trying to disprove that, other than them making you look like you're
because 2 years ago,
cancer for
because
donation?
2 years ago, I'd rather that than the.
What? Why would you rather that? That's so stupid.
This is the last thing I have is my medical records.
All right, do you care
If
about
I
this
hand
anymore?
this over, I've given over literally every goddamn thing.
What if you give it directly to Destiny himself? I mean, Destiny's not going to put your fucking medical records all over the
Destiny.
place.
And you know what? This might have turned out differently had he messaged me the night before. And we had the conversation
yeah. You wouldn't have nagged him for a whole night not to come out.
Why the whole thing story, not just the confirmation?
Because I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, thanks a lot, guys.
Take care,
cool.
Destiny.
We'll see you guys later.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Good night, guys.
Yeah, have a pleasant evening.
You too.
All right, listen, Boogie. Look, you got to understand this. All right. Tomorrow, the biggest story.
Okay, so I'm going to pause Keemstar from doing his little fortune-telling shtick. Because unfortunately, from what I understand so far anyway, that hasn't happened. So he's not really as much of a Nostradamus as he would like to think that he is. Not to say that that's a bad thing, but, you know, I like Keemstar for the most part. He does do genuine efforts, and he is a 100%... he's a 100% entertaining person on the internet. Like, he knows what he's doing as far as people are concerned for everything as far as internet drama and whatnot is concerned. Very entertaining guy. Can't really knock it or anything. He has also helped other people and whatnot. It's all good things. Anyways, yeah, so the point that we're at right now, Jordy's made it a few times, and Destiny made it before he left. He doesn't understand what the weird Hilda Dawn thing is about this whole cancer thing. And honestly, it's like I have said before, and other people will come in and say it later. Either it's not there, or there's something else there that he doesn't want people to know about. That's essentially it. Because another thing that will also be brought up is that if you look at any sort of patient portal, whether that be through Epic or any other thing that your state or your medical care may provide for you, you can easily redact information. It doesn't show anything that anybody shouldn't know. The only thing that your patient portal might show is your real name, but that's about it. It's not going to show real name, address, and all that. It'll show more likely your real name and your date of birth. I know that that's what mine shows. Mine shows my name and my date of birth, and then it will show what I've been diagnosed with, but it has nothing to do with the doctor who did it, where they did it, what hospital you went to, none of that. It's just quite simply, here's who the patient is, this is their date of birth, so I guess you can figure out how old they are, and then here's what they're all diagnosed with, and that's it. So the fact that he is vehemently not wanting to show this simple thing just says to me and everybody else that it's just a lie. So what I'm going to do now, because like I said, I don't want to stay on this forever, is we are going to move to when our dearest Jim pops in. Now, those who don't know who Jim is, he's also known as Mr. Medicare. He is I guess what would be considered, I don't even know what you call him. He's probably one of the greatest of all time as far as internet goes whenever it comes to pointing out people that need to be pointed out and so on and so forth. But he's a very good dude as far as that goes. And why is this doing this? It's double clicking. I don't want it to. Anyways, so yeah, he's he's one of the greatest of all time, maybe the greatest of all time. Who knows? That's up for debate, of course. But he's been on YouTube. He was on YouTube for a while. He ended up dropping off of YouTube for a lot of reasons. But one thing that is important to this particular venue as we go into it is that good old Medicare has cancer himself, along with a litany of other issues, which I personally won't go into. He has a whole live stream where he talked about the stuff that he has. He just basically did what Boogie should have done. He just screen capped it and showed it, and he's been through a lot of stuff. I, although with love, call him the walking petri dish, because that's basically what he is. He's got so much shit wrong with him. But he comes in and he tries to convince Boogie to do the same thing. And going back to Boogie's little analysis here, whenever Jim comes in and he hears Jim is coming in, like whenever he first hears that Jim's coming in, you can see the color kind of escape his face. That fear that he had before with Destiny is now even worse with Medicare. And whenever Jim actually does come in, that's whenever things get really, really interesting.
You're digging your grave, man.
Yeah, I know.
So what's going on? I got a DM from Keemstar telling me to check out a clip from Destiny, and then I watched the Destiny clip, and it's saying that that Boogie's faking his cancer.
Yep, that seems to be the narrative.
Okay, so why don't you walk me through why Destiny believes you're faking the cancer?
He doesn't know the difference between polycythemia vera and secondary polycythemia, and he thinks that I've gotten confused between the two, and that somehow I'm so stupid as to. I think that's the. Am I missing something there?
You're missing a big portion. Jim, what he's missing is to disprove Destiny's whole claims, and because Destiny made a solid case he didn't have polycythemia vera. All he has to do is show that a diagnosis from a doctor from his patient portal that he has polycythemia vera. And
I'm looking at it right now.
And he refuses to do it.
And Jim, here's my ongoing theory. I think he was diagnosed with this disease or whatever, the non-cancer type, and he rushed to the internet, which he already confirmed. As soon as he was told he had this, he ran and made a video, and then found out it's the non-cancer one after he already told the internet he had cancer. Because that's what Destiny really hit him on. That Boogie has a certain disease that's not cancer. Now, there's a similar name one that is. And Boogie, all he has to do is prove it. He's got the paperwork right in front of him. All he has to do is show the internet that he actually does have this, and he refuses to do it.
Well, and here's the thing, because I did a stream, because I had people saying, oh, you're faking cancer, Jim. So I showed my diagnoses and stuff like that. I'm going to guess he's working on a system similar to Epic, which most medical people do. Mm-hmm. You should be able to go right into diagnoses, and it's going to list everything that a doctor has ever said you had.
Yep, I just read it to him.
Okay, and so it lists the cancer there?
Yes.
Okay, so you could screen cap that and just show it. I mean, that's what I did, and then that would be the end of it.
Absolutely. And I made the decision 2 years ago that I would not do that, and I would rather leave the internet than to give the last shred of fucking privacy I have left.
Here's the thing. I understand the privacy argument.
Mm-hmm. I should have never went public with it.
No. Let me finish. I mean, you can redact information. There's no issue with that. But just show. I mean, it literally is just a page that says patient diagnoses.
Yep.
And then it lists what you have. It doesn't tell you who the doctor is. It doesn't tell you what hospital you go to. It literally just says the disease name.
And I won't be doing that.
But I don't understand why not.
Because he doesn't have cancer. He doesn't have cancer.
Yeah, that's going to be the narrative they'll go with. So that's the
well, no, I mean, I'm legit trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. When I checked on you for the crypto thing, man, I said I take your word that you had cancer. I take your word that the medical shit's expensive.
Yep.
So I mean, this seems like
I spent 2 years treating a disease that doesn't exist. These people used to be my friends, and I genuinely would have never believed it would even come to this. And I'm just rather be done, man. I'm good. I'm good.
You're playing this like some kind of backstab. I mean, anybody
no,
can run.
Not at all.
Nobody's
not at all.
Do you think I backstabbed you by having Destiny on?
No, not at all.
One of the biggest streamers coming on our show.
No, I feel like this could have been a private conversation, and I would have shown you, Keem, specifically.
Oh, wait. Okay, how about this?
Yeah.
Instead of playing to the audience, like I get it. I get you've got a podcast going. I get the drama thing. I get all of that, and there's a lot of getting flung around.
Yeah, I'm not playing to any audience.
No. What I'm saying is, could you screen cap that, and then pick one of these three guys because you've worked with them,
Absolutely.
and show them, but nobody else, because I'm sure everybody would.
That's something I could do, and I will never do it. Never do it. But between now and when I die, they'll never see it.
Because I don't know, I don't know your relationship.
I'll have it tweeted when I'm dead. Don't worry about that.
But I guess
when I'm gone. They'll see when I'm gone.
But if they're giving you this accusation, right? I don't get why it would shut them up immediately, right?
Yeah, sure.
And then nobody else would ever have to see it. You keep your privacy.
Sure would.
I don't understand why you wouldn't be willing. I mean, that just seems weird to me.
I'm good.
They told you that you had this disease. You Googled it, saw it was linked to cancer, and you rushed to make a fucking video that you have cancer. And then you found out later that you don't. But you had to continue the lie.
Yeah, that'll be the story you guys have played out.
What do you mean? It's not a story. I know this is how it played out. I know it is.
Is there anybody? Okay, let's say you've got issues with them, right?
Yeah.
Is there anybody?
Seen it? My roommate's seen it. No.
I mean, aside from somebody that lives with you, like a CoffeeZilla or some neutral.
My most confident people, no.
But I mean, like a neutral third party.
Other than my most confident people that I trust, I would know. No, I'm not. And even in that, I wouldn't do that. I could call Desi in here right now, and she would. And I won't even do that. I won't even do that. No, thank you. I'm good.
I mean, it looks bad. You understand that it looks.
Yeah. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like he is so fearful right now. He has so much fear going on in him, and it's so obvious. And the fact that he is just vehemently being like, no, I'm not going to do it, not going to do it. That's the last shred of privacy that I have, not going to do it. Nope, never. That's so weird. Why would you be so willing to be so public about every fucking thing else, but this is the one thing you won't do? The simplest thing in the world. And here's a really, 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 really good point that is hammered in, I think, several times. I'm hoping that it's several times. I know there was a couple that I heard whenever I watched this initial little confrontation, and then now I'm going back now and kind of psychoanalyzing everything. He is very... he's very vehement about not showing his medical history, but the thing is that if he shows anybody else, like if he was to send this over to Wings or to Keemstar or to Tommy or hell, even to Medicare, if he was to show his medical history, his medical record to anyone, and then they was to show it to somebody else without his consent, that could be a lawsuit. That could be something that is criminal. So they wouldn't do it. So the idea that he can't show it to a private party of anybody here and confirm it, or have someone else come in on his behalf and confirm it without them, of course, being the girlfriend or his roommate, but he'll never show his roommate. He's already made that pretty clear. So I guess that's two hills he's not going to die on. For I get the roommate one I understand more than the medical history one, but whatever. And then but not bringing in anybody else. Like Medicare said, CoffeeZilla he could easily show. And CoffeeZilla could come in and just be like, oh yeah, it's true, it's there, I see it. That's all he would need. That's the only thing he would need to do, and he would be legally covered. But no, it's not enough because of some weird privacy issue that is only a problem now. It's only an issue right now.
It's terrible.
Yes, I know. I'm good.
Can I ask you, I mean, when you got the diagnosis, how did they diagnose you? Can you say that at least?
Yes. We did a blood test, which we do every 3 months or 6 months regularly. They saw that my red blood cell counts were up. We had a conversation about that. I didn't think too terribly much about it. He said he wanted to check for blood markers for polycythemia vera. They look for a specific hormone in the blood that is produced. They found it. He called me and let me know that they found it, that means I have polycythemia vera, and that we were going to treat it, but the treatment plan doesn't change very much because you cannot treat the cancer directly, so you have to treat the symptoms. And so for the last 2 years, we've been doing that. And one of the things I would like to do is because there is a chance that those blood markers are being brought on for another reason, even though it's invasive and expensive and pretty pointless. I was going to go ahead and push for the bone marrow biopsy, because I would very much, now that I have a girlfriend and somebody that I love in my life, I would very much like for them to be wrong. And it's like a 1 in 1,000 shot, but I thought I would take it.
So I had a growth on the top of my head. It looked like a Porta wine stain. Nobody really gave it much thought. You go in, get some steroids. It's some, we don't know what it is. And for like a year, it was just flat, no issues. And then it started like wildly growing. And the doctor's like, shit, I don't know what this is. You should go into dermatology. So I go into dermatology, and the guy's like, oh, we gotta fucking biopsy this thing. We gotta take a look at this shit. So they do the biopsy. They're like, we've got to set it in for cell staining. On top of that, we're going to do blood work and a PET scan. And then they also ordered a bone biopsy too. And did all that. And it took like a week, and I got everything back. And then they're like, conclusively, you have lymphoma. I mean, that's what's going on. That's a tumor.
After you got the conclusive, have you had biopsies since for separate reasons, or to double check since you were diagnosed?
Yeah. So basically what happened was I got the diagnosis. Right after the initial biopsy, they set up some blood work, a PET scan, and then they did the bone biopsy just to see if it had spread. And then from that point onward, I didn't need extra biopsies. What they would do is they just do PET scan imaging, because it'll make cancer light up in your body, like any areas or like any autoimmune stuff. But yeah, it took like a week, and it was definitive. It was cut and dry. It was like, this is what you have. This is what we're seeing under the microscope.
Yep.
Like just with the crypto tip, man. I mean, there were so many fucking lies related to that.
Sure.
And you came off terribly with that.
Yeah,
so now you've got Destiny. You've got Destiny making these accusations.
Yeah. If I tweet this tomorrow, it's not going to change anything. I'm just done. It doesn't.
It would make everybody. It would make everybody look like an asshole.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It would make everybody on this fucking stream look like the world's biggest assholes for doubting
you. They'll pick it apart, and they'll say I'm lying again. They'll say the proof
How
isn't
are they gonna
enough.
say you're
The
lying
web
if
portal's
the
not
doctor says you have
enough.
cancer?
Now I want a fucking medical record. Now I need to see a fucking list.
What about your peers?
Not going to do it. Not going to do it.
Yeah, I would straight up apologize.
We don't work
to you
together
for
anymore.
doubting you.
Yeah, we don't work together anymore. We're good. We're good.
What do you mean we don't work together?
I'm leaving the internet. I'm good.
No, you're not.
I'm
We
not.
know you too well.
This is what doesn't make sense to me. If you're in the right, if these assholes are persecuting you and you have cancer,
Would you want to sit in here with these people for 2 nights a week? Because I don't.
I don't know. What are you paying? What are you paying, Keem? What?
See, now that's another thing. That's so very interesting, is that I'm leaving the internet. I'm gone. I'm just going to leave the internet. I'd rather not be on an internet that thinks I'm faking cancer. Well, who brought that upon you other than yourself? Oh my God. All right. So here's what I want to do. I would like to come back and do this a little bit tomorrow. We haven't even we've gotten through most of it. There is, like I said, there's an entire 4 hours of this that actually goes on. And they've condensed it down to just the good stuff, which I like. I do appreciate what Local Live is doing for that. But I would like to come back and talk about this a little bit later, if possible. For right now, though, there is one thing that I would like to talk about very, very, very briefly, and that is what has came up very recently, which is not to do with Boogie, thankfully, but actually has to do with our current political climate. And if you're on YouTube right now watching this, of course you will, because, of course it's where you'd find it. You would already know about this because it does appear in the feeds. However, in case you don't know, Trump was at a rally today in Pennsylvania, and apparently someone took a shot at him. It took off the top of his ear, or pierced through his ear. He's okay. However, the one thing that I would like to commend Trump for, at least, is that the dude stood his ground, kept his arm up, even despite the Secret Service trying to get his ass down. And he was still ready to talk, still willing to talk to the people at the rally. And, of course, it didn't happen because, he got shot at. He was wounded. The top of his ear was wounded. He was rushed off stage. Apparently, the shooter has been taken care of, and they did identify him, which I'm assuming will come up in the next day or two with that whole thing. But that did happen. So, as weird as it is to say, this whole thing will help Trump's thing in the long run. So if you're a Trump supporter, kudos to you. I'm very meh whenever it comes to politics, so I don't really have an opinion. But that's the done deal. That's what's going on. So I do thank you all for coming by. Anybody who stopped in, it was awesome seeing you all. As said, I will hopefully be back tomorrow. I'm going to try to come back tomorrow if I can. I don't see why I can't, but we will see. I'm going to put this in the middle for right now. But it was great to see you all. It'll be great to hear from you all if any of you come in. I usually stream on Twitch. I decided to stream on YouTube this time only because of the fact, whenever we're talking about the Boogie situation, I don't know if he's still on Twitch anymore, and Twitch does have a thing about talking about other content creators on their platform, and I don't want to get into any sort of trouble there because I've been doing good boy things so far. I want to keep it that way. But we will be back tomorrow to talk more about this. If there's any other developments, of course, I will be the first one to come in and let you all know, or probably the last one. I do call myself fashionably late for a reason. Otherwise, it was fun to talk about this. Frankly, I needed to get it off my chest because that whole thing with Boogie really struck a nerve, and I think it does for just about anybody. Anyone and everyone nowadays has experienced have experienced family members, friends going through cancer, and it's not something to laugh at. It's not something to definitely not something to lie about, and even worse, it's not something to lie about in order to garner more money for yourself. And the fact that Boogie is seemingly doing that is not only sickening, but it is deplorable. It is reprehensible. There is honestly no way, in my opinion, that he could redeem himself for this, unless there's only one thing that I think he could probably do, and that would be to finally produce something that says you have polycythemia vera. If you don't do that, then as far as I'm concerned, if you do end up disappearing off the internet tomorrow, which he's apparently already deactivated his Twitter, but Twitter has like a 30-day limit to where you can just come in within the next 30 days and reactivate it and it'd still be there. His YouTube is still up. He hasn't posted anything on there, of course, and he was supposedly deactivating everything during the live stream whenever people called him out, but that didn't happen. And I know if anybody comes in and sees where I stopped on the live stream react there, we just about got to the part where Boogie was literally threatening to be naked instead of giving his medical records. How ridiculous can you be of a person? But anyways, we will talk more about this tomorrow. We'll finish up the little reacting, and then hopefully we can do some arena stuff. We'll see. I personally would like to get back into the arena, do some more Street Fighter stuff, do some more Gundam stuff that you're seeing on screen, more Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever we can do. Should be fun. But until then, you all have a wonderful, wonderful day or night or evening or morning or whatever time it is where you all are whenever you see this. And from the Khan himself, I will see you all next time.